Hi, this is Aria and McKenna from Reel-LIIFE, a program from the Long Island International Film Expo, and I am here today with Tom Rizzuto from Chit Chat. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Great, our pleasure. So tell us, what did you do on Chit Chat?
I wrote and directed it, and I acted in a small part, and I lifted a water cooler up several stairs.
Kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock appearance in your own film, that sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Only I spoke or whatever, and I hope a little slimmer than Alfred Hitchcock. But yeah, that's a great, yeah.
So tell us, what is Chit Chat about? What did you make here?
So it's about a couple people having sort of a generic water cooler conversation, and they speak only in what they're talking about instead of actually saying anything. So it occurred to me that so much speech is like rote. You know what I'm saying? We always like fall into these normal conversations. How's your day with the weather? Yeah, exactly. You can't avoid it. So it's like Alzheimer's or something. You're just like, oh, it's not going to happen to me, and then when you wake up and you forget everything. So that's what it's about. And then there's one character who's trying to really actually reach through to somebody, but he's having a tough problem getting through just small talk.
That sounds like a really interesting concept. How long does this run?
It's only 7 minutes long. It's a short film.
Great. And did this just show in the block before, or how did you like the way it was received? How did it feel seeing it on the big screen?
Oh, it was good. It was great. I love watching anything. I mean, it seems like so often now we watch everything on a small screen, like a phone or glasses or something. So it's really cool to see your work on a big screen. The crowd seemed to like it. I had fun. I love this festival. I've been here before, so it was like a really good time.
Oh, wonderful. What were you here with before?
I did another short film called Neighbors, and then before that, when I was a wee lad, I made a film called Pants. It was about pants. So
Chit Chat, pants.
Talking pants. Yeah, slowly working my way up to like adult themes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm fascinated. I really am disappointed that I missed this. Actually, how many films in all have you done so far?
I guess I've made one feature, probably about 7 or 8 short films, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I lose count of them after a while, but.
And when was your feature?
I made it. It was about 2 years ago. I shot this feature film. I had sort of a premiere and a show for a bunch of friends and family and whoever I could get, and then I just started working on other things after.
You're really industrious, it sounds like. Have you always wanted to be a filmmaker?
Yeah. I think more obsessive than industrious. But yeah, since I was a little kid, I was always shooting stuff with a camera. And making films. It's the only thing I can sort of do, I guess.
And did you go to film school out here?
I have documentation that said I went to college. I don't remember much of it, but yeah. No, I went to school in Buffalo, apparently. Yeah, for film. I studied film there. And then I really wanted to be a filmmaker, so I started selling cars. And I got tired of selling cars, so I really want to be a filmmaker, so I moved to Japan. And then I came back, I'm like, I gotta be a filmmaker. So I started teaching. I don't know. So I went all through this route, but the whole time I was always kind of making stuff. And then eventually I got to it.
So when you went to Japan and you were selling cars and you were doing all of this other stuff, you still actually were making films while you were doing these things?
Yeah, I've always made films, and to the chagrin of my bosses, any job that I've had that's supposed to be my day job has always been sort of like, I don't really pay attention to it. I'm sort of always talking to myself or writing or something at work while everything is burning around me. But yeah, so I was always kind of like trying to work on it at the same time. Yeah, exactly.
And how has that process been for you in terms of your growth as a filmmaker? Was there a particular period of time where you felt like an aha moment in terms of finally really getting some key wisdom?
I feel like every film I made, I had an aha moment, and then I go back and realize, like, no, that was terrible. And then you sort of make another one, like, no, this is really good. And then you sort of go back, you're like, oh god, that was terrible. Which I think is important. I think if you look back on your work that was a year or two ago and you like it, like that's terrible. You need to despise it, because otherwise there's no impetus to grow or do better. Yeah.
Constantly that restless dissatisfaction, so you can just continue to get better and better, right?
Yeah, I remember Akira Kurosawa is one of my favorites, and I feel embarrassed invoking his name, but they gave him an award, like a Lifetime Achievement Award, I think when he was like 89, and he said that he only made 15 minutes of cinema in his whole life. And if Akira Kurosawa is like that hard on himself, well then, I don't know, I feel like I've got to be even harder. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the point. You should just kind of keep getting better and better. I don't know how they do that.
So this last film that you made, what do you think was a takeaway that you got from this? Is there a lesson that you can articulate that you feel like you got from the last film?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I feel like for myself, it's always a war between like getting it done in time and getting it done well. So for anything, I think I've tried to teach myself to slow down and try and do it better rather than worrying so much about getting it done. That and getting a water cooler to bubble is actually like impossible. We had to empty it out. We were like drinking water like crazy. I think we have like the cleanest livers on the planet now, or kidneys. I don't know. I never took anatomy, but yeah. So that was like one of those things. So sometimes it's those little bits, like we need the cake to be, and then you're like, oh my god, I need to get 2 cakes. It's impossible. I don't know how to make it.
How big was your crew for this?
It was a guy named Ethan. That was it. It was Ethan Sands. He was a very talented photographer and cinematographer, and it was Ethan.
And how big was the cast?
Oh, the cast. It was a really great actor named Kyle Grant, who was the lead, and Steve Shelowitz, who was his co-star and co-lead. I gotta get all the names. Nicholas LaBruna, John Dorsick, and Johnny Greenlaw were like the other sort of guys in the group. I did, like I said, a small role, and there was a really great actress named Alexandra Mingioni that she was in the end part or whatever. So it was a small cast. It was only 5 or 6 people.
And how long did you take to shoot, and how long did it take to edit it?
We did it all. We shot it all in one night, so it was probably like a 6-hour shoot, maybe 7. We had to do one pickup shot a couple days later, and then to edit it, I think I took probably took a couple months. I was working on a music video at the same time, so I kind of was switching between the projects. And it's a very like fast cut film, so I was trying to get everything exactly perfect, and it takes a while. So yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so much for being here. It's really fun talking to you, and I do hope I get a chance to see it. It sounds like a very clever idea, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.